vehicle's looking good. Luckily, we have a lot of science to do yet before we put the shuttle away.
Good morning, David, and yeah, we are going to have some fun. Thanks for the wake.
Greetings from the Space Shuttle Discovery. I'm Jerry Linenger. I'm a mission specialist on the flight. I'm also a medical doctor and used to work in Panguitch, Utah a while back. It's my first flight, and I'll tell you, it was really a great takeoff flying on those Thiokol made in Utah solid rocket boosters. I want to talk to you a little bit today about what's going on in the Space Shuttle and how Utah is tied into our space program. And now I just want to show you a view out our payload bay of the beautiful Earth and what we have back there. We're going about 17,000 miles an hour right now. We're going around the Earth about every 90 minutes. If you look where on the view we're showing you here, you can see way in the back there 12 large cylinders, and the one second from your right, we had a message here, excuse me, is loaded with experiments provided by space engineering and microgravity science students, science from the students and faculty at Utah State University in Logan. And Utah State's one of the 4 space research universities in Utah, the others being University of Utah, Brigham Young, and Weber State. And Utah State is pretty famous for flying these experiments on the shuttle. They've flown 22 of these experiments to date on the shuttle. As a matter of fact, they flew the first 10 aboard Columbian back in 1982. And within that 200-pound cylinder, they have studies on looking at distillation, float zone instability. They're looking at bubble formation, structural damping. They're even looking at the photosynthetic ability of a plant lichen while it's out here in space. Some of the elementary students nearby Utah State have some popcorn kernels in there, and when it gets back, they'll be going ahead and popping them and tasting them to see how space popcorn tastes. As you can see from those last views we gave you out the payload bay there, it's wonderful to be in space, but the next best thing to be in here is probably to be at Space Talk 94 there at Salt Lake City. Senator Bob Bennett's going to be hosting the grand opening of that event. They're going to have the theme of the 25th anniversary of the moonwalks. And, of course, we're really keep pressing forward in our space programs as exemplified by this flight that we're doing here today. They're going to have lots of hands-on things, so bring the whole family out. Should be a really good time, and you'll learn more and more about our wonderful space program. I want to leave all my friends from Utah with this final view of Earth, looking out our overhead windows. It's really a magnificent planet we have there. On our 82nd orbit, which will be about day 5 up here, we'll be directly overhead Salt Lake City. So you who are out at that Space Talk 94 at the State Fair, you might want to look up and see if you can see the 17,000 mile an hour shuttle flying by. We'll be looking down to see the Wasatch Range and Zion and Bryce and all the beautiful spots in your great state of Utah. I want to thank you all for all your contributions, for the experiments you're flying on the shuttle time and time again, and it's just great to be part of our great country and to be representing you all in this space flight. Mission Specialist Jerry Linenger, out.
This view of operations with the mechanical arm is live from a camera mounted at the rear right-hand corner of Discovery's cargo bay. This checkout of the mechanical arm puts it through its various drive modes, its primary and backup modes, and primary and backup powering devices to thoroughly check it out in preparation again for operations with the shuttle plume impingement flight experiment scheduled later this afternoon for the crew. This television view from Discovery as Discovery passes over South America and the coast of Argentina. View showing the business end of the mechanical arm, the end effector, the part of the arm that will be used to grasp and capture the shuttle plume impingement flight experiment, essentially a 32-foot long extension for the arm that will be held out over the exhaust plumes from several of Discovery's steering jets. SPIFEX, as the experiment's called, will measure the plume of the jets, the heat and pressure that is experienced in the vicinity of the jets, and that data gathered during about 80 or so different firings of the shuttle's jets will be used to characterize and plan for dockings of the shuttle with the Russian Space Agency's Mir space station as well as the future International Space Station. This is Mission Control Houston as Discovery now passing above the Atlantic coast of Brazil at an altitude of about 140 nautical miles, with mission specialist Susan Helms continuing through a checkout of the mechanical arm.
Discovery for SPIFEX.
Go ahead, Story.
We're going to take a three-pronged approach to the SPIFEX problem. The first approach will be to see if we got power on the bus. The second approach will be to try to look at the communications path, and the third will be to reboot the PGSC. We're going to step on through this, take action, and then see what happens. Our first approach will be to look at the power. If you could cycle the circuit breaker, that's the bus 1 switch power on the SPIFEX L12 standard switch panel, that'll be our first approach. And after you've cycled that once, do an alternate F5 on the PGSC.
Okay, Story, we'll cycle the circuit breaker, bus 1 switch power, once, and then we'll do an alt F5.
Good readback, Susan. And if you could give us a mark on the circuit breaker, we'd like it.
Story, do you want us to turn bus 1 power off first or just cycle the circuit breaker?
No, ma'am. Just cycle the circuit breaker.
Okay, we'll give you a mark. Mark.
Thank you. We're a minute to attainer's handover.
The next test firing.
One great picture, Discovery.
Okay, we thought you'd enjoy that one. We'll go ahead and proceed. Sorry, that picture has to go away.
Thanks a lot. You got a great looking payload bay there.
And Houston Discovery, we're sending down camera B now.
It's a great picture. Thank you.